Let's get back to the two major challenges for the president, who goes to Las Vegas tomorrow after touring Puerto Rico today. Joining us now from Washington, senior political analyst for NBC News and MSNBC, Mark Halperin. Mark, he seems to be getting the message, I guess, on Puerto Rico. Where does that stand? There's been a lot of criticism that this president, for many different reasons, handled Puerto Rico horribly.
Well, first of all, to join everybody's voices in grieving for what's happened, not just in Las Vegas and Puerto Rico, but for the country as a whole, to try to deal with these things. The president, in both these cases, traveling for the next 2 days, three-part challenge. The short term, addressing the country and trying to hold us together. I thought his statement yesterday was pretty dignified, and the tone was right. Medium term, he needs to go to these places and make sure that the federal response is what it needs to be. And in Puerto Rico, the people of Puerto Rico, to a large extent, have questioned whether the federal response has been enough, and he needs to oversee that in a very hands-on way, like he's the mayor of a small town, to make sure it's happening. And then longer term, particularly with Las Vegas, are there things the government should be doing to try to protect the American people? Those are big challenges. They're detail-oriented things, they're performance things, they're tonal things. Not all of those have been this president's strength, to say the least. So these are two very big days, not just for him, but for the country. Jeb Bush called him a chaos candidate. These are chaotic times for the country that require a president who's the opposite of chaos, and it's going to be a real test for him and the symbolism and the substance of his leadership.
Well, Mark, let me ask you, I always ask this question just because the temperature changes daily inside the White House. What's the current weather report inside the White House? This is a president faced with a multitude of crises, some of the most difficult in some time, with North Korea, Puerto Rico, and the spate of other crises coming in his inbox. And yet his weekend was, I think, as chaotic on Twitter as it's ever been, after again, more discussions about whether he's going to make the turn, whether he's going to make the pivot. You know, of course, we always say he's always 3 hours away from a bad tweet. He had a number of tweet storms this weekend, which were unconscionable.
Lashing out at the mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, from his country club in New Jersey.
Yeah, while he was golfing, and the mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, was up to her neck in water and God knows what else, trying to help the people on that island, the American citizens, he was attacking. And then when that went terribly bad for him, he then once again started to try to gin up racial animus, talking about the flag and the NFL. This was as bad of a weekend as this president has had, certainly on Twitter. Can you give us any insights, anything you're hearing from inside the White House?
Is General Kelly?
Yeah, there's always been a little bit of a tale of two realities: the Twitter feed and then everything else that's going on in the president's orbit. And I think you're seeing that right now in a large way, because the Twitter stuff takes him off track, creates diversions, creates controversies. And yet I've been struck in the last probably 5 days, I guess, at how clearly General Kelly and the White House operation recognizes that as much as they have incoming on many fronts, that they really need to have the apparatus of the White House focused first on dealing with Puerto Rico from a substantive and political point of view, and now on Las Vegas. It was clear, I was over there briefly yesterday, it was clear that the focus of the White House was very much on we need to clear away any distraction from dealing with this incredible tragedy in one of America's great cities.
So when you went to the White House yesterday, at least the operations of the White House, General Kelly, all the president's men and women, you say right now are focused on Puerto Rico
and on Las Vegas.
Well,
and
of course, yeah.
And that doesn't preclude the reality that, as we sit here this morning, the president could start tweeting about other things, both controversies and what many would look at as distractions on Puerto Rico, the tweets over the weekend, to say the least, but also on other topics. And that's just a reality of how he operates in his Twitter and Fox world. That again, if you're looking for a silver lining in that, it seems like the government can do some things that are required, even in the wake of the leader of the government tweeting in ways that are off message and more than distractions. They divide the country at a time in the face of these two twin tragedies, when again the president needs to step up
and bring people together. Coming up, there is new reporting on the Las Vegas massacre, which may answer how the gunman was able to fire so many bullets so quickly. That's straight ahead on Morning Joe.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.